What's up everybody, my name is Carl, and happy Halloween! In the spirit of Halloween, I thought to talk to you about what the Jinn is. The Jinn are spiritual creatures in Islam and Arabic folklore who inhabit an unseen world in dimensions beyond the visible universe of humans. The holy book, the Qur'an, depicts the Jinn as being made of smokeless, scorching fire, but can also be physical in nature, which allows them to interact physically with people and objects and also be acted upon. Like human beings, the Jinn can be good, evil or benevolent, and therefore have their own free will, just like humans. In some myths, Jinn can take any form of their choosing from either an animal or human, which links to one of their alleged abilities of being able to manifest and transform. In the case of ancient Semites, they depicted jinns as spirits of vanished ancient people who were active during the night and disappeared by the first light of dawn. They could be invisible or change into animal shapes. These spirits were believed to be responsible for diseases and causing mania amongst lunatics. As well as this, the Jinn has the ability of possession and can cause a person to have seizures and to speak in an incomprehensible language, more or less leaving the person to not speak or think from their own free will. As previously mentioned, the Jinn has a great connection to the religion of Islam and is referenced in the holy book, the Qur'an. According to Islamic scriptures, Jinn live alongside other creatures, but from a world other than that of mankind. Although they can see us, we cannot see them, which is terrifying. Jinns share similar characteristics to us, such as intellect and the freedom to choose between right and wrong and good and bad. In the Quran, their origin is different to that of man, as the jinns were created from smokeless flames of fire, and humans were made from dried clay of altered mud. The jinn's main purpose is to tempt and seduce mankind to stray from God, or in Islam referred to as Allah. It is believed that Satan or Shaitan is thought to be from the same realm as the Jinn. The Jinn has been known to have been around long before the 7th century introduction of Islam. Jinn are said to be sighted in various places. They inhabit caves, deserted places, graveyards, and darkness. Now it's story time, and today I have two true alleged scary encounters to share. This first story comes from Reddit user RobCan167, so sit back, turn the lights out, and get spooked. At some point in my early teenage years, 13ish, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and see a black figure standing at the foot of my bed. Somehow I knew it was a woman, even though I'd never seen her face. She would appear about once every couple of months. The first few times it petrified me. I'd sit up most of the night staring at her. Eventually I got used to her. Depending on how tired I was, I'd either go back to bed, tell her to go away, or try to speak to her. She would never respond. Occasionally she would appear standing over me in bed. That was the most scary. Later, a friend of mine who is a qualified psychologist told me that there are various stress-related illnesses that can manifest themselves like this. My childhood was very stressful for different reasons, so I assumed this was it. The last two times I saw her was when I was about 25 years old, and again 7 years later on my honeymoon, when my wife woke me up petrified that there was a woman in black standing at the foot of our bed. I stared at the woman in black, then at my wife. I was shocked my wife could see her. I got up to turn the light on and she was gone. I didn't want to scare my wife, so I just told her that I didn't see anything. I've never told my wife the story because it would just scare her, and I don't think I ever will. I do ask her from time to time if she has ever seen her again, and she hasn't. She tells this as one of her Jinn stories, and I just sit there and listen with a smile on my face. But deep down, I hope that woman in black never comes back again. This final story was written by Shadia KAAYALL, who shares her grandfather's alleged encounter with a Jinn. This story comes courtesy of paranormalhaunting.blog. Enjoy. My grandfather had an encounter with one when he was in his early 20s. They didn't have electricity back then, and my grandfather was a social man. He left late after visiting relatives in another village, arguing against the family's suggestion that he stays over and leaves in the morning. He made his way back through the village, hitting fields and woodland areas with a trail that was used by the locals. He was on this path for ages, feeling like he was just going around in circles, until he came across what appeared to be a middle-aged lady. She came to be a local, although he hadn't seen her before. He told her he seems to be lost. He recognises the trail, but didn't seem to be getting anywhere. She offered to help and he followed behind her, and as they did, they just had a general chit-chat. Lucky for him, he was a smoker, and lit his match for a smoke. Just as he lit the fire, his whole surroundings changed. The woman disappeared, and he was in an area he wasn't familiar with. He instantly realised what he had encountered and yelled for help until some locals heard and went to him. They told him many have died because of their encounter with this Jinn. They told him she was leading him to a trail that would have eventually had him fall off of a cliff. And that was my take on the Jinn, an entity that has existed as far back as the 7th century, known in Islam for steering people from the path of God or Allah and causing them dangerous harm. Is the Jinn real? In my personal opinion, I believe the Jinn does have some existence, but perhaps not in the capacity we think. I think in terms of Islam, the Jinn has been used to warn those who steer off of the path of the religion and what the consequences could be. I guess a way of keeping you in check and in tune with the religion, a warning, if you will. I do think there is another world within ours that beings such as the Jinn could exist. Certainly the entity could be more bad than good, certainly with its ability to possess people. Of course, I leave it to you, the viewer, to decide. So comment down below if you have any more information regarding the Jinn. Do you or someone you know have a scary true encounter to share? And what do you think? Is the Jinn real or fake? Like and subscribe, and happy Halloween everybody. Bye.